Good morning all of you. In the last class we have discussed about various forms of chlorine, and today we are going to discuss about different types of chlorination. So depending upon quantity of chlorine added or the stage at which it is added or upon the result of chlorination, various technical terms are used in relation to chlorination, that are plain chlorination, pre-chlorination, post-chlorination, double chlorination, breakpoint chlorination, superchlorination and dechlorination. So now we will discuss in detail about this type of chlorination. So what is plain chlorination? So this term is used to indicate that only the chlorine treatment and no other treatment has been given to the raw water. And under plain chlorination, therefore, the raw water is fed into the distribution system after giving chlorine treatment only. This helps in removing bacteria, organic matter and color from the raw water. And this technique is generally used for treating relatively clear water which are obtained from lake, reservoir, deep tube well, etc. And it may also be used during emergencies when full-fledged treatment cannot be given. So the quantity of chlorine required for plain chlorination is about 0.5 milligram per liter or more. Then next, pre-chlorination. So pre-chlorination is the process of applying chlorine to the water before filtration or before sedimentation coagulation. So it helps in improving coagulation and reduces the load on the filter. It also reduces taste, odor, algae and other organisms. The chlorine dose should be such that about 0.1 to 0.5 milligram per liter of residual chlorine will comes out to the filter plant, and the normal dose is about 5 to 10 milligram per liter. And this pre-chlorination is always followed by post-chlorination so as to ensure final safety of water. Next is post-chlorination. Post-chlorination is sometimes simply called as chlorination, and it is the normal standard process of applying chlorine in the end when all other treatment have been completed. While treating normal public supplies, the post-chlorination is adopted after filtration and before the water enters the distribution system. And the dose of chlorine should be such as to have a residual chlorine of about 0.1 to 0.2 milligram per liter after a contact period of about 20 minutes. This residual will ensure the disinfection of water if any future recontamination occur in the distribution system. Next is double chlorination. So this double chlorination term is used to indicate that the water has been chlorinated twice, and it generally used for pre-chlorination and post-chlorination. So post-chlorination is generally always used, while the pre-chlorination is also used when the water are highly turbid and contaminated. Then breakpoint chlorination. So breakpoint chlorination gives us an idea of the extent of chlorine added to the water. In fact, it represents that much dose of chlorination beyond which any further addition of chlorine appear as free residual chlorine. So, when chlorine is slowly added to water and the residual is tested, it will be found that the residual will go on increasing with the addition of chlorine. So, now I will show you the graph showing the residual chlorine and applied chlorine. So, see here, when chlorine is added to water, it is found that the residual will go on increasing with the addition of chlorine. But some chlorine is consumed for killing bacteria, and thus the amount of residual chlorine shall be slightly less than that added. So this is shown by curve AB. And this one is the imaginary line which represents that there is no chlorine consumption. So this is an imaginary line for pure water. So the curve of residual chlorine is shown by curve AB. Then if the addition of chlorine is continued beyond the point B, then the organic matter that are present in water starts getting oxidized, and therefore the residual chlorine content suddenly falls down as shown by the curve PC. So the point C is the point beyond which any further addition of chlorine will appear equally as free residual chlorine. That means it becomes a straight line, no consumption of chlorine. So this point C is known as breakpoint. As any chlorine that is added beyond this point will appear as residual chlorine. So the addition of chlorine beyond this point is known as breakpoint chlorination. So at point B, when the oxidation of organic matter starts, a bad smell and taste generally appears, which disappears at the breakpoint C when the oxidation has been completed. So it is a general practice to add chlorine beyond breakpoint so as to ensure a residual of 0.2 to 0.3 milligram per liter. So this residual of free chlorine appearing after breakpoint is not easily removed, and therefore it takes care of the future recontamination of water in the distribution system. So next is the superchlorination. Superchlorination is a term which indicates the addition of excessive amount of chlorine, that is 5 to 15 milligram per liter to water. So this superchlorination may be required in some special cases of highly polluted water or during epidemics of waterborne diseases. So this huge quantity of chlorine which is added in superchlorination will give a residue of 1 to 2 milligram per liter beyond the breakpoint. So sometimes this higher dose may be removed by the use of dechlorination. And this dechlorination is done by adding dechlorinating agents such as sodium thiosulfate, activated carbon, etc. to water. And when dechlorination is done, then it will remove the bad taste and odor as well as the chlorine. Therefore, in order to maintain the residual chlorine, so some amount of chlorine is again added to water. Next process is dechlorination. So dechlorination means just we have discussed. So this is, it will remove the chlorine from water. So this is generally used in case of superchlorination. So this dechlorination process may either be carried out to such an extent that sufficient residual chlorine do remain in water after dechlorination, or otherwise if full chlorine has been removed, then additional chlorine will generally be added to maintain such residues, because it will remove all the chlorine so as to make the water susceptible to the contamination. Therefore, when full chlorine has been removed, additional chlorine will generally be added in order to maintain the residual chlorine. So this will carried out by using certain chemicals which is known as dechlorinating agents, and the common dechlorinating agents are sulfur dioxide gas, activated carbon, sodium thiosulfate, etc. So this is all about different types of chlorination. Thank you.